my name is Rachel. I'm the pastry chef for Savannah Bistro, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make pineapple upside down cake. We have had the pineapple upside down cake on our menu through the winter because pineapple is a winter fruit and we have a seasonally changing menu. Start by cutting off the top and the skin. Now we're going to cut it into about 1/4-inch slices. Try to keep them fairly straight for even cooking time. So now we're going to make the caramel sauce. We start with 1 cup of sugar, which we put into our saucepan, and 1/4 cup of water, which I like to put around the outside edges, and 1 tablespoon of corn syrup, which I've already measured out. And now we're going to mix this together so that all of the sugar is wet. Now that the sugar is incorporated with the water, we're going to start cooking on medium-low heat. And keep your spatula off to the side, and you want to try not to stir until the caramel starts to get that nice honey color. We are quickly going to brush down the edges of the pan with water to get rid of the sugar crystals. And now this will take about 5 minutes to turn into the right caramel color that we want. While that's happening, we're going to slice our pineapples into the ring shape. I've chosen my 4 most even slices, and then I'm going to take ring cutters cut out the inside core and an outside circle. So the small ring cutter goes in the middle, center the outside one around it. Now we have a pineapple ring. Now that that's done, we're going to check on our caramel and then cook the pineapple when the caramel is ready. Now you can see that the caramel is really dark in the center but paler around the edges. You don't want to stir it, but to even out the color, we're going to just gently swirl the pan. So now the caramel is almost at the right color. We want it to be a little bit darker, but first we're going to add a vanilla bean. So I've already sliced it, and now we're just going to scrape the seeds out carefully and add this in. And now we can start stirring. Turn the heat down just a little bit to low. And now that we have this nice honey color, we're ready to add our pineapple. We're going to let the pineapple cook for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You want it to be slightly opaque. That's when you know it's done. While our pineapple is finishing cooking, we are going to prepare our tart pans. We're going to spray them with some Pam and put them on a sheet tray with parchment paper so that when the pineapple is done, we'll transfer them straight from the pan here into our prepared pans. Now that our pineapple is finished cooking, we're going to put a little bit of the caramel and the pineapple slice in each pan. I just let some of the extra caramel drizzle in. We're going to set the end of our caramel aside because we're going to make a rum butter sauce with it at the end. Now we're going to be making the cake batter. We're going to start by measuring out our sugar. We need 14 ounces of sugar. We'll put our sugar into our mixing bowl along with our room temperature butter. And now we're going to start mixing on medium speed until our butter and sugar is completely combined in a creamy yellow color. While that's happening, we're going to measure out our flour. We need 13 ounces of flour. We'll pour this into our sifter. And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt. And now we're going to sift it together so that our dry ingredients have air incorporated into them and they're evenly mixed. Now that the butter and the sugar are combined in this nice creamy yellow color, we're going to add our eggs one at a time. We're going to let each egg fully mix in, and then we'll scrape down the sides. Now that our eggs are mixed in, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and we'll mix that in. We're going to add the milk and the flour. We're going to start by adding about 1/3 of our flour mixture. And we'll let that mix for about 30 seconds. Now we're going to add about 1/3 of our milk mixture, which is about 1/2 cup. And we'll let that mix for about 30 seconds, then we'll scrape down the sides of our bowl again. Now we're going to add another 1/3 of our flour. And mix for 30 seconds again. And then we'll add a second 1/3 of our milk. Now we add the end of our flour. Let that mix. Now we add the end of the milk, and we'll let that mix until everything is fully combined. Now we're going to put our cake batter on top of our cooked pineapple, and then they're ready to go in the oven. So now I'm going to add enough cake batter to each tart pan until it's just about 1/8 inch below the rim. Now the cakes are ready to go into the oven. We have our oven preheated to 325 degrees, and they'll bake for about 12 minutes. We've reached the halfway point in our baking time, so we're going to spin our cakes now. While the cakes are finishing baking, we're going to make our rum butter sauce. So we're going to reheat our caramel that's left over from the pineapple, and we're going to add 4 ounces of butter, chopped up so it'll melt in faster. Once the butter's all melted, we will be adding a 1/2 cup of rum. I always use a dark, unspiced rum because it gives it a deeper flavor without covering up the flavor of the pineapple and the cake. Stir it until everything comes to a nice boil like this. Let it boil for about 30 seconds, and then turn the heat off, and it's good to go. The timer has gone off for our cakes, so now we're going to pull them out and check them and make sure they're done. I'm going to use a cake tester to check my cakes. You just poke it right into the middle. You pull it out, and there's no cake batter coming out on the tester, so your cake is done. Now we're going to plate our cake and do a little garnishing. We're going to pour a little bit of our rum butter sauce on top. And I like to add some black and white sesames and some lightly toasted coconut. We're also going to add a scoop of our Thai chili pepper coconut ice cream right on top. And here you have it, our pineapple upside down cake with Thai chili coconut ice cream.